History of Silent Trauma Series. Episode 1, From Shadows to Spotlight, The Unseen Impact of Childhood Trauma on Steve Jobs. Section 1, Introduction. In the history of technological innovation, few names shine as brightly as that of Steve Jobs. As the co-founder of Apple Incorporated, Jobs' legacy is not only etched in the revolutionary products he helped create but also in his unique approach to life and business. Behind the public persona of a visionary leader, however, lay a complex individual shaped by experiences of pain and loss as much as ambition and brilliance. Central to understanding Jobs, the person, is the concept of childhood trauma and its enduring impact on an individual's psyche and behavior. Childhood trauma, encompassing experiences of abandonment, abuse, and neglect, leaves indelible marks on the developing mind, influencing behavior, coping mechanisms, and even life choices in adulthood. This episode aims to explore the complex web of Steve Jobs' life through the lens of his early experiences and their potential influence on his adult behavior. Specifically, we will delve into his obsessive dietary habits and relentless work ethic, behaviors that, while contributing to his extraordinary success, also hint at deeper struggles with control, perfectionism, and perhaps unresolved trauma. By examining the interplay between Jobs' early life experiences and his later life choices, we aim to shed light on the broader theme of how childhood trauma can manifest in adulthood, often in ways that are as maladaptive as they are compelling. Through this exploration, we seek to better understand a remarkable individual and offer insights into how our pasts shape our present and future. Section 2, Steve Jobs, A Tapestry of Triumph and Trauma. Steve Jobs' early life was marked by events that could be considered traumatic, starting from his adoption shortly after birth. Though his adoptive parents, Paul and Clara Jobs, provided a loving home, the knowledge of his adoption left Jobs with feelings of abandonment and questions about his identity and worth. These feelings were compounded by the complex relationship he had with his biological parents, which he would explore later in life. During his school years, Jobs experienced periods of inattention, isolation, and difficulty fitting in, further complicating his sense of self and belonging. He was known to be a loner, often being bullied, reflecting a turbulent inner world. These early life experiences, while not overtly traumatic in the sense of physical or emotional abuse, could nonetheless contribute to a foundational sense of insecurity and a deep-seated need for control, demanding tendency, and perfection in his later life. The psychological imprint of Jobs' early experiences manifested in several aspects of his personality and behavior. His notorious perfectionism, for instance, can be seen as a coping mechanism, an attempt to control his environment in ways he couldn't during his formative years. This trait drove him to achieve unparalleled success in the tech industry but also led to famously high standards and expectations that were often difficult for his colleagues and employees to meet. Jobs' need for control extended to his personal habits, notably his dietary preferences. He would go through extreme phases of dieting, including periods of being a fruitarian or engaging in fasting. Such rigid control over his diet can be interpreted as a manifestation of his deeper psychological needs, a way to exert control over his body and environment, perhaps echoing his early feelings of powerlessness and abandonment. Steve Jobs' workaholic tendencies are well documented, with countless accounts of his relentless drive and dedication to his work, even during his battle with cancer. This obsessive dedication, while contributing to his extraordinary achievements, can also be seen as a maladaptive coping mechanism. For Jobs, immersing himself in work might have been a way to avoid dealing with unresolved emotional pain or insecurities stemming from his early life experiences. His intense focus on work provided not only a sense of purpose and identity but also a distraction from deeper psychological issues. This relentless drive, however, came at a cost. It strained his relationships with family, friends, and colleagues and perhaps even impacted his health. The stress of maintaining such high levels of performance and control in his professional life while battling personal demons illustrates the complex interplay between Jobs' early life traumas and his later life behaviors and choices. The life of Steve Jobs demonstrates how early experiences, including those that may be considered traumatic or deeply unsettling, can profoundly impact an individual's personality, behavior, and life choices. While not all of Jobs' actions can be directly attributed to his early life experiences, it's clear that these experiences significantly shaped the man he became. By examining Jobs' life through the lens of his early challenges and traumas, we gain a deeper understanding of how childhood experiences can influence adult life. This perspective helps us appreciate the nuances of Jobs' character and achievements and underscores the importance of addressing and healing from early life traumas. Section 3: Maladaptive Coping Mechanisms in the Spotlight. Steve Jobs' life and work offer a vivid tableau of how profound genius can coexist with deep personal struggles. Among the most discussed aspects of his personal idiosyncrasies were his extreme dietary habits and his relentless work ethic, both of which can be viewed through the lens of coping mechanisms developed in response to early life traumas. Steve Jobs was known for his peculiar eating habits, which included following a strict fruitarian diet, where he would eat only fruit and sometimes carrots or Brussels sprouts for weeks. He was also known for fasting and believed that doing so could enhance his creativity and innovation. While some might view these dietary choices as a pursuit of health or spiritual purity, they can also be interpreted as an attempt to exert control over his environment, a common response to early feelings of helplessness or unpredictability stemming from childhood trauma. The psychological perspective suggests that such extreme control over diet can serve as a coping mechanism for underlying emotional turmoil. It provides a sense of order and predictability in a world that was once perceived as chaotic and unsafe. However, these behaviors can also lead to physical health issues and can be indicative of an avoidance strategy, where dealing with deep-seated emotional pain is circumvented by focusing intensely on something like diet. Steve Jobs' workaholic tendencies are well documented. His passion for perfection and his obsessive attention to detail were both a curse and a blessing. They drove him to achieve unparalleled success in the tech industry but also came at a significant personal and health cost. During his battle with cancer, instead of slowing down, Jobs maintained his intense work pace, prioritizing Apple's success over his well-being. This relentless pursuit can be seen as another maladaptive coping mechanism. Immersing oneself in work can serve as a distraction from personal pain and a way to avoid dealing with unresolved issues. Jobs' dedication to his work might have been a way to seek validation and a sense of worthiness, potentially compensating for earlier feelings of rejection or inadequacy. One poignant episode that further exemplifies Steve Jobs' extreme ways of thinking and coping with emotional distress involves his relationship with his daughter, Lisa Brennan Jobs. In the early stages of Lisa's life, Jobs denied paternity, even going as far as to state in legal documents that he was sterile and infertile, despite a paternity test proving his biological connection to Lisa. This outright denial and rejection of his daughter can be seen as a manifestation of his inability to deal with complex emotional situations, particularly those involving his ex-girlfriend, Chris-Ann Brennan. This denial profoundly affected his relationship with Lisa and Chris-Ann, creating a rift that took years to mend partially. It also illustrates how Jobs' maladaptive coping strategies extended beyond his professional life, affecting his personal relationships deeply. The impact of his behavior on Lisa and her mother highlights the broader consequences of unresolved emotional issues and the importance of addressing them to foster healthier interpersonal relationships. The extreme behaviors exhibited by Jobs, such as his dietary restrictions and work addiction, can be interpreted as attempts to manage underlying psychological pain through control. These behaviors provided a way to cope with the stress and anxiety that might have originated from his early life experiences. While they contributed to his image as a visionary leader, they also highlight the complex interplay between trauma, coping mechanisms, and their impact on an individual's life and health. From a psychological perspective, Jobs' denial of Lisa can be interpreted as a defensive mechanism to protect himself from the emotional turmoil associated with his relationship with Chris-Ann Brennan. This behavior reflects a pattern of avoiding unpleasant emotions by creating an alternate reality where those emotions do not exist. It's a form of cognitive dissonance, where Jobs' actions were driven by a need to maintain control and order in his life, even at the expense of his relationships. Jobs' reliance on these coping mechanisms underscores a common theme among those who have experienced childhood trauma: the profound need for control in a life that once felt uncontrollable. Yet, when taken to extremes, this need for control can lead to maladaptive behaviors, impacting relationships, health, and overall well-being. Section 4: The Double-Edged Sword of Trauma-Driven Success. The intricate narrative of Steve Jobs' life illustrates the nuanced reality that the very traits and coping mechanisms developed in response to childhood trauma can fuel extraordinary achievements yet simultaneously pose significant personal risks. This duality embodies the essence of what can be described as trauma-driven success, a phenomenon where individuals channel their trauma-induced behaviors and tendencies into their professional lives, driving innovation and success at the expense of personal well-being. Jobs' compulsive pursuit of perfection and unparalleled attention to detail were instrumental in Apple's success. His ability to envision and execute products perfectly blended functionality with aesthetic appeal revolutionized the technology industry. This relentless drive, often traced back to a deep-seated need for control and affirmation, propelled Apple to the forefront of innovation but also came at a high personal cost. Steve Jobs is not an isolated example of trauma-driven success. History is replete with figures who have leveraged their personal struggles as a catalyst for professional achievements. This transformation of trauma into a source of strength and motivation underscores the complex legacy of childhood adversity. While it can lead to remarkable resilience and determination, it also raises critical questions about the sustainability of such success when it is built on the foundation of unaddressed psychological pain. The story of Steve Jobs underscores the complexity of trauma's effects on an individual's life. It highlights how trauma can drive a person to greatness yet suggests that these achievements can come at a significant cost. This duality presents a challenge for understanding the full impact of childhood trauma on adult life, necessitating a balanced approach that recognizes both the positive and negative outcomes. Section 5: Lessons Learned and Paths to Healing. The journey through Steve Jobs' life, marked by his incredible achievements and the personal challenges he faced, illuminates the profound effects that childhood trauma can have on an individual's life. Reflecting on this episode of various relationships in Jobs' life underscores the necessity of recognizing how our coping mechanisms can affect our well-being and the lives of those around us. It serves as a reminder of the importance of confronting and processing emotional pain rather than denying it. Healing from trauma involves acknowledging past behaviors, understanding their roots, and working towards changing these patterns to build stronger, healthier relationships. Steve Jobs' legacy offers valuable lessons about addressing childhood trauma and finding healthier coping mechanisms. It emphasizes the need for awareness and intervention to ensure individuals can pursue success without sacrificing health and happiness. For those who have experienced trauma, it is crucial to seek healing and support, allowing for success that is not only measured by professional achievements but also by personal fulfillment and well-being. The first step towards healing is recognizing the presence of maladaptive coping mechanisms. This can be challenging, as these behaviors often serve as a protective shield against unresolved trauma. However, identifying these patterns is crucial for initiating change. Awareness allows individuals to understand the root causes of their behaviors and begin developing healthier coping strategies. Healing from childhood trauma is a journey that often requires professional support. Trauma-informed mental health professionals can provide a safe space for individuals to process their experiences and learn new coping methods. Various mental health counselors and supporters trained in trauma-informed care can offer strategies that address the specific needs of those who have experienced trauma, helping them to work through their past in a constructive and healing manner. Support groups also offer a sense of community and understanding, providing a valuable resource for those feeling isolated in their experiences. Transitioning to healthier coping mechanisms is essential for long-term well-being. This might involve learning stress management techniques, such as mindfulness, meditation, or physical activity, which can help regulate the body's response to stress. Establishing healthy relationships and setting boundaries are also critical, as they can provide emotional support and reduce the reliance on maladaptive coping mechanisms. Engaging in creative outlets, pursuing hobbies, and setting personal goals can also contribute to a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity and can be cultivated over time. It involves developing a positive mindset, focusing on strengths and achievements, and maintaining a hopeful outlook. Resilience does not mean ignoring the past but learning from it and moving forward with greater insight and strength. Conclusion. The exploration of Steve Jobs' life through the lens of childhood trauma and maladaptive coping mechanisms provides valuable insights into the complex interplay between our past experiences and present behaviors. By understanding and addressing the root causes of these behaviors, individuals can embark on a path toward healing and personal growth. This journey is not without its challenges, but with the right support and resources, it is possible to develop healthier coping strategies and foster resilience. Ultimately, the goal is to achieve a balanced and fulfilling life where professional achievements, personal well-being, and happiness measure success.